Welcome to the Mindfulness Meditation Podcast presented by the Rubin Museum of Himalayan Art, a global museum dedicated to bringing greater awareness and understanding of Himalayan art to people around the world. I'm your host, Tashi Chudran. Every week, we offer a meditation session that draws inspiration from an artwork from the Rubin's collection and is led by a prominent meditation teacher. You can find more information about the related artwork in the episode description. Our Mindfulness Meditation Podcast is presented in partnership with Sharon Salzberg and teachers from the New York Insight Meditation Center, the Interdependence Project, and supported by the Frederick P. Lenz Foundation for American Buddhism. And now, please enjoy your practice.
Hello, everybody. Losala Tashi Del Lake. Happy Tibetan New Year, the year of Fire Horse, and it's 2153. Welcome to the Rubin Museum of Himalayan Art's Mindfulness Meditation Program. I'm Tashi Chudran, Himalayan Programs and Communities Ambassador, and I'm delighted to be your host today. The Rubin is a global museum dedicated to presenting Himalayan art and its insights, and we're so glad to have all of you join us for our weekly program where we combine art and meditation. Inspired by our collection, we will first take a deep look at the work of art we've chosen for today. We will then hear a brief talk from our teacher, Kimberly Brown, and then we will have a short sit, 15 to 20 minutes, for the meditation guided by her. Now let's take a look at today's theme and artwork. The artwork for today's session is this tree of refuge, or it's also known as Field of Refuge, from the Gelugpa school in Tibetan Buddhism. And this is originated from Uzang region, which is central Tibet, dated 19th century, and the medium is mineral pigments on cloth, silk brocade. This is about 64 3/4 height into 36 1/4 top width into 36 middle width into 40 bottom width inches. We are currently in the midst of celebrating Losar, the Tibetan New Year, and we are entering the year of the fire horse. This year, the first day of Losar coincided with the beginning of Lent and Ramadan, so it's a significant time for many of the world's religions. The theme for the month of February is Loving Future. This tree of refuge field, or Tsokshin, gathers Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, which is teachers, texts, and protectors, into a single field meant to support a practitioner across many lifetimes. This lineage guides today's practitioner and their past and future selves. This painting represents the field for the accumulation of merit known as Tsokshin in Tibetan word. In this setting, you can see this field is arranged around the central teacher, who is Tsongkhapa, 1357 to 1419, the founding teacher of Gelugpa School of Tibetan Buddhism. He is surrounded by lineage teachers above and to the sides, with meditational deities and protectors shown below. Such depictions are meant for devotional practice and also represent the three jewels: the Buddha, that is the teacher, the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, the community. At the time of its composition, practitioners would identify with the monk depicted in the lower right, who was probably the donor who commissioned the painting. Now let's bring on our teacher for today, and our teacher is Kimberly Brown. Kimberly Brown is a meditation teacher and author. She leads classes and retreats that emphasize the power of compassion and kindness meditation to reconnect us to ourselves and others. She studies in both the Tibetan and Insight schools of Buddhism and is a certified mindfulness instructor. Her latest book, Happy Relationships: 25 Buddhist Practices to Transform Your Connection with Your Partner, Family, and Friends, was released earlier this year. You can learn more about Kimberly on her website, meditationwithheart.com. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
So, our theme this month at the Rubin is Loving Future. And that's one of the reasons that we chose the tree of refuge as our artwork. This image, it shows all the support we have in a single field, Buddhas, teachers, Dharma texts, all the protectors. And, it's meant to support us through many lives. It's showing this network of care that all of us have. And as a wisdom tradition, Buddhists understand that everything that exists right now, every phenomenon that's happening, is the result of countless actions from the past. And in order to create a loving future, we want to orient our actions, our words, our thoughts, our deeds in ways that benefit, in ways that don't harm. And, it can be hard. It can feel difficult to create these conditions, to use your actions in this way if you don't feel that you have the resources. That's where this field of refuge becomes incredibly valuable, because it reminds us that each of us, we do, you listening to this, have the resources and the support that you need, even if you're struggling right now. This support is here. And when we realize it, it also helps us recognize that we can live collectively with kindness and mindfulness, that we can use our actions, our words, our deeds, our thoughts to create a life free of oppression, free of hatred. Because in many ways, we have these resources that are free of hatred and oppression too. It's already happening. So today I'm going to guide us in a mandala meditation. It's actually my favorite practice, and it's based on an early sutta in the Buddhist tradition, the Sigalovada Sutta. And in that teaching, the Buddhists suggest that we can use our body and notice that in all 6 directions, okay, north, south, east, west, up and down, that we have a mandala of care. We are surrounded by loving beings. We live in this field of refuge. So gently close your eyes. Place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly. And you'll be able to feel that your body moves as you inhale, as you exhale. You'll also be able to feel your own loving presence. You are here for you. And for just a moment, very gently getting in touch with your breath, following your exhale all the way to the end. Following your next exhale all the way to the end. Feeling your hand on your heart as you imagine to your right in the east. Here are people that raised you and gave you life. Now, in the sutta, it's your parents. And for some of us, it's your parents. But for others, it could be parent-like people, people who raised us, people who gave us life, parents, parent-like people, doctors, medical staff. I put my therapist here on the right. These are people who really raised me. And you'll see them here smiling. They might be sitting, they might be standing, but they're here supporting you. To your right, parents, parent-like people. Behind you, in the south direction, these are your teachers. Standing, sitting behind you, teachers from grade school, from high school, from college. And then there's lots of other teachers, informal teachers. Maybe they taught you a skill. They showed you how to do your job, gave you skills. I include my friend Denise. She taught me how to cook. Anyone you feel you learned from, these are your teachers, standing and sitting behind you. To your right, people that raised you, supported you in your growth, parents, parent-like people. Behind you, your teachers, formal teachers from school, informal teachers throughout your life. And it might be sometimes you're losing your connection or you get distracted, and that's okay. Gently begin again, feeling your heart, recalling, creating your mandala. To the right, parents, parent-like people. Behind you, teachers. And to your left, in the west, this is your family. Okay? And your family includes your family. It might be people related to you, it might not. Your partner, your children, cousins, aunts, uncles, dearest, oldest friends. Everyone you consider family. This extended support system here on your left. To your right, parents, parent-like people. Imagining behind you, your teachers. Imagining to your left, your family. Now, some of you might have 2 or 3 people in each of these directions. Some of you might have dozens. It doesn't really matter. And now in front of you in north, imagining your colleagues, people in your life that you're friendly with, that you socialize with, but maybe aren't intimate with. I include my neighbors in the front. So taking a moment to imagine these beings, these people. Imagining to your right the parents, parent-like people behind you, teachers, to your left, family, in front of you, colleagues and neighbors. And now visualizing below you, here are all the unseen hands who make your life possible. Okay, holding you up. The people who grow your food and drive it to your grocery store. The energy companies where you get your electricity and all the people that work for them. If you have taken any kind of medication, then thanking all of the drug manufacturers, the people who work in their factories, the scientists who've invented your drugs, the FAA, the FDA, right? Any of these government organizations that help keep us safe. So just thinking of all these unseen hands who make our lives possible. And imagining above you. This is where the spiritual beings are, right? You might imagine Buddhas, bodhisattvas, angels, devas, saints. I also imagine up here real humans who've inspired me. They could be from any tradition. If you need to recollect, refocus, begin again, feeling your hand on your heart, on your belly, noticing your seat, and imagining the people that raised you, your parents and parent-like people on the right, the teachers sitting behind you, your family on the left, in front of you, colleagues and neighbors, below you, countless unseen beings who make your life possible, and above you, your spiritual protectors, Buddhas, angels, saints. This is your mandala. You are surrounded by a field of refuge and support, and you are surrounded by it at all times. You're enveloped in care and encouragement. And each of us, we're embraced by this network of care. keeping your connection to your mandala, you can see that you're held up by a circle of strength. Love and kindness are all around us, and we really are immersed in a sea of support. Because each way you turn, you're surrounded by encouragement, backing. It's flowing to us from every direction. And I'd like you to remember that you have this mandala, I have this mandala, and that you're part of many other people's mandala. That it's interdependent. All of us live in this field of refuge. And you can slowly allow this visualization to fade. But it's always here with you, whether you're imagining it or not. Feeling your breath, your belly, your seat. Taking a moment to thank yourself. May you be safe and healthy. May you be happy and live with ease. Whenever you're ready, you can conclude this meditation, open your eyes, stretch or move. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Kim. And thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful Fire Horse year ahead.
That concludes this week's practice. If you enjoyed this podcast or are a weekly listener, we invite you to support this series by donating and becoming a friend of the Rubin at rubinmuseum.org/friends. The Rubin is a nonprofit that relies on the generous support of donors like you to create meaningful experiences with Himalayan art around the world. If you are looking for more inspiring content, check out our other podcast, Awaken, which uses art to explore the dynamic path to enlightenment and what it means to wake up, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And to learn more about the Rubin Museum's work around the world, sign up for our newsletter at rubinmuseum.org/newsletter. Thank you for listening. Have a mindful day.